What's up, everybody? Welcome to Extremely Decent Games, and welcome to Let's Hash It, episode number 4. I am your host, Jay Lewis, and joining me today is co-host Nathan Hodge. What's up, Nathan?
What's up?
And joining us as well is our special guest today, Chris Madison. How you doing, Chris? What's going on, brother?
What's up, Jay? How's it going, Nate?
Good, good.
Glad to be here today.
Yes, indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about Destiny, what its current state, and where it needs to go for the sequel. But before we get into that, we're going to get into some top news. And the first piece of news I wanted to talk to you today was, what is it? Gametrailers announcing after... 13 years they're going to be closing down Gametrailers.com. So, Nate, I know you heard about this. What do you think about that?
Well, it was honestly the first time I ever heard of Gametrailers, so it didn't
Oh,
really affect
wow,
me
that
much.
bad, huh?
I imagine they had something to do with video game trailers, I guess.
Yeah, so back in the day, probably about 5-6 years ago, the PS3 era, whenever a new game was going to come out, or came out, I should say, if I wanted a review, I'd go straight over to Gametrailers and check out their review on it, because they did a really good video review of the game, and they were the best outlet in order to get news and reviews and stuff like that. Like, they were basically IGN before IGN was a thing. So, yeah, after 13 long years, they're shutting down the doors, dude. Like, to me, like I said, I knew who they were. Obviously, you didn't. Chris, were you familiar with Gametrailers?
Not so much. No.
Not so.
I mean, I heard about it, but I never, went there.
Damn.
Looked at the trailer for any game.
Shit, that's pretty crazy, man.
I mean, because it's always YouTube.
Right.
Just YouTube
Yeah.
the title.
Right. No. Second piece of news I had was apparently the Wii U stock is running surprisingly low in Japan following the holiday surge. Nate, what do you think about that?
It sounds to me like maybe Nintendo's not manufacturing Wii U's anymore.
You pretty much hit the nail right on the head. There's two speculations going on as to why this could be going on, what you just said, and the second one was like maybe Nintendo, just got caught with their pants around their ankles, didn't expect that Super Mario Maker and Splatoon were going to be so successful in Japan, and then they just, didn't stock accordingly, so... And apparently that's the more likely situation. From what DualShockers.com is saying, is they think they're still producing quite a bit, and it was just one of those things where it just blew off the shelves. So what do you think about the Wii U doing good over in Japan still, Nate?
It's a little bit surprising. They're pushing to make a new console, and suddenly they, got good software for the Wii U, and they could continue to develop for it, but it sounds to me like they're pulling out of the console world too soon.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of what I was thinking, but I think it just kind of goes to show that maybe the NX is in fact, going to be come out in 2016. You know what I mean? Because if they're slowing down production, then that's probably a sign that the NX is kind of right around the corner. So
yeah, I really wish they would have invested more into the Wii U. It had potential. They could push it more.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Chris? Are you excited about the Nintendo NX?
I am.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for Nintendo to come out with something new. for a minute. So I played the Wii U. I mean, it's great and all, but it just feels weaker when compared to it Xbox 3, One or PS4.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely didn't have the power of the newer consoles. That's for dang sure. Um,
Yeah.
in terms of news, those were the two big stories that I wanted to talk about. So now that we got those hashed out, let's just get into some Destiny talk now. Chris, we're gonna let you kind of like lead the ship on this one since you play. What do you play basically every day still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Um,
first question I had for you is, what are regulars doing in Destiny these days? Like, are you guys still raiding? Is it mostly PvP? Like, what keeps you guys playing daily?
well, see, that's the thing. I mean, everyone's different. What keeps me coming is pretty much Crucible. I don't really raid too much these days. Uh, the only new content really coming out in Destiny is PvP PvP based, so it's like there's really no reason to do anything in the PvE mode. But on the regular, yeah, I just now they got the Crimson Doubles event in town.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Uh,
What exactly is the Crips and Doubles event?
I guess it's supposed to be for couples, but single people like me just play with my buddies. And it's basically just a two versus two kind of like trials. I mean, you get revives, and but it's different because when one of your partners goes down, you get like a boost on like weapon reload. You get like you take more damage, to I guess help keep you in the game when it's just you versus the two. But I mean, it's pretty fun if you ask me. It's just not level advantage like trials, so I mean, you can use year one weapons or you can go in how you please and still do decent instead of having to equip your highest light level gear. And
Right, right.
just overall fun experience. Two versus two. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they should keep it after even after it's Valentine's week.
Oh, okay. So it is that good, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out before we started the show the last time I actually played Destiny, and it's been since November of last year since I actually even turned the game on. So I would like to see Destiny do some more PVE content. Like I know that that's something that I see in the community. People just asking for more PvP type of things to do. Would you like to see more PVE content? I know you're a bigger PvP player, but how do you
Yeah, yeah.
feel?
I mean, I love PvE and I love PvP, but I definitely want some new content, want some new story, and there's still a lot of unanswered questions that I thought was coming out this year, but apparently not. So
Yeah. Now,
I think
talk to me about the
it,
weapon balancing in PvP. Like, is it still like an issue? Like, do you still have weapons like the Thorn that are like the current meta of Destiny?
uh, I mean,
Like, what's dominating in PvP right now, or is it
it's,
pretty good when it comes to balance?
it's pretty good, but I mean, you have guns that everyone's using. It's not like it's super OP where it's like the Thorn was and it's vintage days, but it's everyone's using it, so it's kind of along the lines of, oh, if I can't beat them, join them. And like I was saying with the doubles, it's not level based. And, the Thorn just had a buff on it, and so everyone's starting to use the Thorn in that. But there's no real dominant guns. I mean, you see a lot of last words, a lot of
Oh, last word
multi-tools.
still? I thought people stopped using it.
No, they apparently gave it a buff again, so
Is that
it's
something
still
that you're
relevant.
tired of? The buffing, the nerfing, like, because that's something I got
I am.
tired of.
I am, honestly. I mean, it's good I guess it's good when they first do it, but it's like, why even make the gun that strong in the first place? And then you nerf like the whole class based off of one gun, a few guns. Like the whole hand cannon class got nerfed just for like the thorn and last word.
Yeah, now,
And then
how
they'll buff the pulse rifle class, and then they just nerfed it, so like pulse rifles aren't even really relevant. I
yeah,
wish they wouldn't
I was gonna say
have
I got a
buffed it.
little tired of the back and forth myself. Like, like every time it seemed like I fell in love with a gun, like they just pretty much take it away from me. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah,
really big into shotguns, but shotguns were too dominant in PvP, so they're like, oh, let's make them completely irrelevant. So then people start using nothing but snipers, and then like that's right around the
yeah.
time I stopped playing is when PvP turned into nothing but a sniper match. Like,
That's what it is now.
yeah,
Everyone's
see.
using that 1,000 yard stare or the Defiance of Yasmin from the raid,
And see, to me, that's so
which I just got.
counterproductive because you basically turn the game into like a camping match at that point, and that's the last
I,
thing people want.
yeah, I see what you're saying, but I mean, you still got shotguns. People still shotgun, and still people still blink and use a shotgun. But it's definitely a sniper, more snipers than ever now in PvP. I guess all you see is like a lot of 1,000 yard stairs and the other one because they have high aim assist, so it kind of helps you land your shots easier.
Yeah. Now, Nate, you were playing there for a while, but you just kind of fell off. What made you fall off from Destiny?
Well, I mean, for me, the best part of any video game is like a sense of growth and, progress. And it tapered off towards the end where you really have to do a lot of grinding in order to get very, better equipment. So, and eventually other games come along and I want to spend my time doing, other things. So, since I play such a breadth of games, like it's hard for a game like Destiny to hold my attention for too long. So, once it got to a point where I wasn't really leveling up anymore and better equipment was hard to come by, it kind of just got boring after a while for me.
Okay, so you're like the minority in the Destiny world. You did play a decent amount though, and I'm surprised you actually ever got into it in the first place. But now that we talked about year one Destiny and like Destiny in its current state, Chris, I want to talk to you about what you want to see out of the sequel.
What I want to see out of the sequel,
Yeah,
I want to see, I want to see them kind of go back to RNG, how RNG was in year one. You know, like I mean, keep 3 of coins, but I guess give them like another purpose or another way to use them, because I feel like the exotics in Taken King aren't as, I guess, worth the grind as they were in year one. I mean, granted, they did have some quests where you, like the Black Spindle, it's a pretty tough mission to get it, but you have 3 coins now, and it's just like, oh, you pop one before a match starts in Crucible, or you pop one before you fight a yellow bar enemy in PvE, and it just gives you a chance of exotics, which you can collect them faster. It kind of takes the excitement out of exotics, because I pretty much have all exotics now,
Yeah, I
just
think
from three
I
of
was
coins.
I was gonna say, in year two they set out to, fix the whole RNG based drops, and to me it made more sense in year one. I felt like sure there was some frustration when you would get duplicates on items that you already had. I
Right.
feel like all they needed to do is tweak that. You know what I mean? I feel like
Yeah.
they didn't need to
And
do
I,
all this other nonsense that they ended up doing.
yeah, like that'd be perfectly fine with just like not get the same guns you've been getting or you have so much of all the time. And then I also would like to see like in YouTube them bring like another Galahorn or another super good OP gun, because I really love the Galahorn. I think everybody did. It's like taking King, no gun even was close to it. Being super OP like that.
Yeah. What was I about to say? I was gonna say, when it comes to like game types, I'm a huge fan of like the Halo formula. Like capture the flag. And I thought that since Destiny was from the makers of Halo, that we were gonna get some of those, classic, really good game types. Um, where do you want PvP to go in the sequel? Do you want to see more game like types like Rift, or would you like to see something more traditional, like a traditional capture the flag or domination if you want to go the COD route? Like, where do you want to see PvP go?
Yeah, I mean, Rift, Rift is fine. I like the addition of it. Uh, I would like to see them add like a demolition where you gotta go set off a bomb. I mean, I guess they kind of have it in salvage, but that's only 3v3. But just like a full team demolition where you got a bomb you gotta set off, and you gotta detonate it or disassemble it. Um, I like the game modes. I guess just more maps would be fitting for me. Uh, yeah, just more maps. I guess is all I really want.
Just more
I
maps.
mean, because at this point, there's not much more game modes you could add. I mean, they went as far as even adding a sparrow racing, so that's something I always wanted, and they had it, but I kind of wish they made that permanent too. That could maybe be something that happens.
Yeah. Sorry, my buddy Hutch is playing for me now. He's gonna say that's why he's died a couple times. But we talked a little bit about PvP for the sequel. Now let's talk about some PvE, and let's. I want you to answer this question, Chris. It's probably the most talked about, and everybody's on a different side of the fence. But should they have matchmaking for raids?
Uh,
Where do you
no,
sit at
it
there?
shouldn't. I mean, I'm kind of in the middle on this, because I'm kind of lazy. I don't always want to have to go, you know, LFG, find type people and, oh, join my party, help
Right.
me do a raid. And
Because
then they
I
have
feel
all these
like
requirements.
when it came to year one, I was okay with going on LFG and getting, a squad together. But in year two, I just, it got so monotonous. Sometimes I just wanted to, jump right in and, try and beat the raid. I never actually even beat the Oryx raid, which, kind of pisses me off. But it was it was so much harder in year two. I feel like to put a raid group together, and I'm definitely a big advocate for having matchmaking. Let me just go to a message board and
Right.
see like, oh, somebody's
Yeah.
at the ogre, and let me just hop right in at that point. Like, if I've gotten as far as the ogre, let me go to a message board and just jump right into somebody's game that's at the ogre that needs a sixth
Right.
person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the very point I was getting to. I say they can implement it, but maybe like in a way like you're saying, add a message board to the tower or the reef where you can just go, oh, I need help with this or want to start a raid, make it in game where we can search for guardians to play with instead of like a third party site.
Yeah,
And
because if you look at the
also,
numbers of people that actually beat like the Crota raid, like it was extremely low. I think it was like 17% of the online user base actually beat Crota, and then in year two with
right,
Oryx, that number was cut in half. So
right, and then it's the problem of, okay, if we do add matchmaking, you can just get matched with I mean, a little kid, or you can get matched with people who's AFK or doesn't know what's going on.
and see, to me,
And
like on that message board, you should be able to have stipulations, kind of like you do in LFG. Like you must have experience, or you must have this, that, or the other. Don't overcomplicate it, obviously, but
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
But then again, you might have that one person who's just AFK at the moment, or
And that's
or
where
even
you
someone
should
with
have
no
to
mic.
pick a raid leader. And then if that raid leader notices that someone's AFK, they should have the ability to kick that player, so then you can get a sixth person in there that's actually playing.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
These things
that's
seem
why.
so simple.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm in the middle of it. I
Nate,
mean,
where
I'm
do
all
you
for it.
stand on that? Do you feel like if they had matchmaking for raids, that you would be more inclined to do the raid?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, the raids, I mean, to me as like a casual Destiny player, the raids are so intense. They're too intimidating for me. Like it would be a thing where I would only do it with, close friends, and I wouldn't do it that often, if ever, really.
Right. Absolutely. And, it's said that Destiny's best content is the raid. The funnest content is the raid. But when you look at the users that are actually doing the raid, it's so low that it's kind of like, I can't believe Destiny's waited this long to address it, and they still haven't even addressed it. So I think for year two, they need to solve their matchmaking issues for raids, and just kind of capitalize on some game types on PvP and just make it, a little bit more immersive and, keep people interested. Um, I think that's the only things they really need to address in year two. I mean, y'all pretty much agree with that statement?
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah.
And just more content.
Yeah, more
That's what the
content.
people want. That's what the people want. That's what the people should get. More content.
I would have really liked to see Sparrow Racing be permanent with more tracks, because just shooting stuff all the time is fun, but being able to race is awesome, and that it got me back into it after being out of it for a while.
Yeah, I agree. I love sparrow racing.
And hold it down for
And
your
the
sword.
gear you got from sparrow racing was awesome.
Oh, was
I
it
got
really?
more I got more 320 drops and pretty much 315 and above from sparrow racing than anything else in the game.
Dang.
Yeah, I
So,
would have spent more time playing it, but there was only like two tracks when it first came out, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even bother playing it. But yeah, y'all have anything else you want to touch on the Destiny?
Well, I mean, it's still a fun game. Uh, I enjoy playing it. Probably the best game I've ever played.
Yeah, how much time do you think you've put into it?
Oh man, so much
2,000
time.
hours? Is that a pretty safe assessment?
Uh, that's pretty safe, I guess.
Yeah. I was wondering how many times have you gone flawless in trials?
uh, Only twice. Been flawless year one once, and year two once.
Damn.
Um, I guess it got harder year two to go flawless, so 'cause they now pair you with people with closer stats to you than just randoms.
Right, right.
Like if I have 5 wins, then they'll pair me with someone else who has 5 wins. Makes it tougher because once you get to 8 wins, you need that last win to pair it with someone else who wants that last win. Then it just becomes who wants it more.
Right, absolutely. All right, now before we get to our final topic, Chris, why don't you tell people where they can find you on PSN in case they want to raid with you or play some PvP with you?
Alright, guys. I'm usually on uh, all day except for like the weekends. It's my job. But you can find me at Devane_AVO. And Devane is DEVANE underscore and just AVO.
All right, cool. Well, Nate, what do you got for us in terms of your weekly topic to round out the show, good sir?
Well, I picked up the Bayonetta DLC over the last week, which was in a pack of the final DLC round for the Super Smash Brothers game.
Oh,
And
nice.
I just gotta say it's awesome. I mean, she plays exactly like she does in the series, and I just want to just say like how well they did DLC to begin with. Like Smash Brothers had an enormous amount of content when it came out, and you know they made getting the DLC characters and levels every bit worth it. And I have all the DLC for the Wii U version, and there's so much content in one game, and that's something that like scares me away from Destiny 2. It's like, is it gonna be like Destiny 1 was? Like, am I gonna be buying DLC to make the game better for little to no value? So I don't know. I really think that's the way you should do DLC. Is like as long as your game has enough content and you add characters and things that people want, it's a winning formula for doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, now how does the character actually handle? Does it handle like you would imagine Bayonetta's character would?
Yeah, just like she does in her original games. It takes a little getting used to because you're playing on a 2D field, but you can link together her combos pretty much the same as you would in her main series games. So it's really neat. It's impressive how they pulled that off.
Any balance issues, or is it pretty much right in line with the meta?
Well, it's a little early to tell on that front. She seems pretty well balanced. Like Cloud was really overpowered, I think, and still is. But Bayonetta seems to have the right amount of balance so that she's not too overpowered.
Yeah, Chris, were you a fan of Smash Brothers?
Definitely.
Did you
Grew up
play it
me and
on
my
Wii U?
brothers playing that. Yeah, I did.
Who's your character?
Uh, I like Star Fox from the old ones all the way up to to the new ones, but the new ones, my favorite character is probably Ryu. He's pretty bomb on it.
Heck yeah. I'd like to see you and Nate go at it.
Mhm.
Oh,
True.
yeah, that
I'd
didn't
like to
sound
see
right.
that
My
too.
buddy Hutch is like, that didn't sound right. Yeah, but oh man, that'd be fun. Oh, only thing is you can't really do that on Wii. Oh wait, yeah, you can. There is multiplayer on that on the Wii U, isn't there?
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, I'd love to set that out and stream that. That'd be amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, anything else you
Yeah, I
want to
got
talk
pretty
about,
good
Nate?
at it.
That about covers it.
Chris, you got anything you want to discuss while we're on the mic? Anything in your head? Anything coming to PlayStation or just any news? Anything?
Uh, Not really. I'm excited for the Deadpool movie coming out. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. Deadpool is going to
yeah,
be amazing.
definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for joining us today, Chris. We appreciate it, man. You're welcome on the
Yeah.
show anytime you got some free time. I think you agree with that, Nate. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for joining us as
All right.
well, Nate. And everybody, this was episode number 4 of Let's Hash It. We'll see you again next week, every Thursday at 9 a.m. Appreciate it, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Later.
Yeah, just fucking take over.